thank you very much for coming. My name is Darren Galt. I'm the police chief here for the Moline Police Department. Want to announce today that the body of missing person Stephen H. Asplund has been located and identified. Stephen Asplund's human remains were located in St. Louis County, Missouri. He was reported missing in 1994. No foul play is suspected. No charges are being sought in this case, and this concludes the missing person investigation that we have had since 1994 on Mr. Asplund. To give you the background, so you don't have to do a lot of research, I'll give you the whole background on the case. January 10th, 1994, Stephen Asplund was reported missing to the Moline Police Department by his fiancée. Asplund had lived in a residence in the 1500 block of 28th Avenue and was renovating it, and had planned to be married later in that year. On Sunday evening, January 9th, 1994, Asplund went to a friend's residence in the 500 block of 20th Avenue to borrow a caulking gun. After hanging out for a while, Asplund left in his black Ford Mustang and was never seen again. Asplund was last seen wearing a t-shirt, Chicago Bears jacket, gray sweatpants, and white tennis shoes. A few days after his disappearance, Asplund's car was found at Leach Park in Bettendorf. Items of evidence recovered from the car were analyzed in 1994 through fingerprint examination. That was the technology that was available at that time. As scientific technology expanded over the years, the evidence was re-examined in 2014 through the use of DNA, and all evidence found in the vehicle belonged to Asplund or his fiancée. Only one tip had been received from 1994 that was able to be furthered regarding an individual possibly seeing Asplund at a tavern on 7th Street in Moline. That male was identified in 2014 after an extensive investigation. It was determined that he had never met Asplund, never drank with him, and the lead was found not to be credible. The case went cold again, with no tips or information coming in the case for many years. In November of 2021, Moline Police Department Detective Mike Griffin researched the National Missing and Unidentified System, known as NAMUS. The database for recovered and unidentified remains. He searched the database for remains along the Mississippi River from Moline to Memphis, Tennessee. Working backwards from Tennessee and within a time frame of 1994 to 1996, he located a recovered male white body in St. Louis County, Missouri from March 1994. The body in St. Louis County was found on March 21st, 1994 by barge dock workers at the beginning of their shift. The body was in a debris field next to a barge in the docking area. Attempts by the St. Louis County authorities to identify the body in 1994 were not successful, and fingerprints were not able to be obtained at the time due to the degradation of the body. The body had gray sweatpants and white shoes, and the entry in the NAMUS database had a discrepancy on the teeth that initially misled investigators. In 2022, Detective Griffin enlisted the help of Dr. Lindsay Trammell, a forensic anthropologist with the St. Louis County Medical Examiner's Office. The investigative team compared the Moline missing persons case to the St. Louis County unidentified persons case, trying to ensure the NAMUS entry was correct. After exhausting all efforts, the team determined that they had to exhume the body for further examination. The team added forensic scientist Aaron Small with the Illinois State Police Forensic Services Laboratory in Springfield to conduct DNA analysis and comparison. On June 8th, the unidentified remains were exhumed in St. Louis, and a bone sample was obtained from the remains. The bone sample, along with the familial DNA samples from Asplund's family, were submitted to the Illinois State Police Crime Lab and processed by forensic scientist Aaron Small. On September 6th, after completion of the processing by the state police, it was determined the unidentified remains located in St. Louis County on March 21st, 1994 were in fact that of Stephen Asplund, missing from Moline on January 9th, 1994. The remains are currently buried in Frieden Cemetery in St. Louis, Missouri. The Moline Police Department is working with the family to make arrangements on a determination where the final resting place for Mr. Asplund will be located. From all of us at the Moline Police Department, we wish to extend our deepest condolences to the Asplund family as they work through the emotions of the death of Mr. Asplund again after 28 years. Every day is difficult for a family of a missing person. Even with this news, many years later, the grief is still painful for them. So we'd ask that you please respect the privacy of the Asplund family, while they process the grief and the closure of this case. They did not want to appear today in person, but they have provided a family statement. I will attach this in the media packet going out to you, but Mike Asplund, the brother of Stephen Asplund, issued a statement on behalf of the family, and I'll read that in its entirety for you. I received this yesterday. Thanks to all the media for shining light on Steve's disappearance today and over the last 29 years. The news, while bittersweet, will allow us some closure. We'll still think of Steve every day and miss him just the same, but these answers will provide comfort to us and his friends. We'd like to thank the hundreds of people who attended the vigils and helped with the searches we did when he first disappeared. The community support and concern has meant a lot to us, and we appreciate it more than we can possibly express. We'd also like to thank the Moline Police Department and all the detectives who have been involved over the years, but we would especially like to thank Detective Mike Griffin, who's been working with us for many years now. He stayed in touch and communicated with us even when there hasn't been anything new to report. He's a good man, and his compassion and concern for getting us answers has always been obvious. We feel blessed that he became involved in this case. We would also like to thank the Doctor of Forensic Anthropology for the St. Louis County Medical Examiner's Office, Dr. Lindsay Trammell, and forensic scientist Aaron Small from the Illinois State Police. Without their assistance, we might never have known what had happened. Their work will allow us to bring Steve back home, and we thank you for that. Thanks to everyone for your concern over the years, and know that it has been appreciated. Mike Asplund. So even though this is a sad day, I'm very proud of the work of the Moline Police Department and the tireless pursuit of the truth for families seeking answers about their loved ones. I would like to commend Moline Police Department Detective Mike Griffin, who is extremely passionate about policing, investigations, and serving the community. Over the years, you've heard his name before, solving extremely difficult cases, and sometimes cases that have spanned decades. This isn't his first success story, and it certainly won't be his last. His dedication, passion, and expertise is extraordinary. He spent countless hours examining water routes, unidentified bodies, case files, and reports in this case. He did not give up, even when that initial report appeared this body that we ultimately identified wasn't Mr. Asplund. He works hard for the community he serves, and we are lucky to have him on our team in Moline. The Moline Police Department was assisted in this investigation by Dr. Lindsay Trammell from the St. Louis County Medical Examiner's Office, forensic scientist Aaron Small from the Illinois State Police Forensic Services Laboratory in Springfield, and Amy Jenkinson, Regional Program Specialist for NAMUS. We are grateful for the resources and expertise dedicated by these agencies and the personal commitment from each team member for their pursuit of answers in this case. Without experts in the scientific community, this closure would not have been possible. Well, this concludes the investigation into the disappearance of Stephen Asplund. The work of the Moline Police Department continues in serving the community. We will search for answers in cases such as Trudy Appleby, who went missing in 1996, Jerry Wolking, who went missing in 1990, Baby September, an infanticide from 1993, and Corey Harrell Jr., who was murdered in 2018. The Moline Police Department will continue to investigate these cases regardless of time passing, and we hope with continued public cooperation, advancements in scientific technology, and passionate police officers like Detective Griffin and the rest of our staff here at the Moline Police Department, one day we will have answers for these cases as well.